What the world doesn't know is leading up to the October 7th massacre in Israel, guess where those people were trained? Iran. We're going to tell you all about it. Claire, it seems we're going to be talking about this for quite some time. The horrific massacres that took place in Israel at the start of October have led to the very anticipated and long-awaited Israeli response, which is going on now. What I find really alarming is in the lead up to the attack, Iran was in deeper than anybody ever thought. And now it seems that, according to new information, hundreds of Palestinian Islamist terrorists, for want of a better word, were trained by Iran. It looks like about 500 from Hamas and Islamic Jihad in September were specially trained by the Quds Force, which is the Iran's Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps, to go in and terrorize Israel. This is not getting widespread news reporting. And it sure seems like it should, because Iran is the elephant in the room behind all of this, aren't they?
Yeah, absolutely. And thank you for bringing that point up. The Wall Street Journal, in fact, on October the 8th, that's the very day after the Shabbat Jihad massacre of October the 7th, published an article called "Iran Helped Plot Attack on Israel Over Several Weeks." And what the Wall Street Journal reported comes along with what you just said there, Barry, but even more so, that the leadership of Hamas, of the Palestinian Islamic Jihad, of Hezbollah, and also occasionally with representation coming over from Iran to include Quds Force Commander Ismail Ghani, and occasionally also the Minister of Foreign Affairs of Iran, Hossein Amir Abdullahian, attended these meetings in Beirut beginning in August of this year, 2023, to begin planning, with the go-ahead given basically just the week before the Shabbat massacre took place.
But here's what's really weird. United States intelligence, contrary to the intelligence department at the Wall Street Journal, says Iran was surprised by the Hamas attack. That's a quote. And U.S. intelligence says, we have documents that do not show a direct correlation to the Hamas attacks on October 7th as it relates to Iran, but we're looking at it.
Mm-hmm.
Why the discrepancy in reporting between the government and the journal?
Well, it looks to me, and probably to you too, like the U.S. government at the top levels of the White House, Department of State for sure, are still covering for the Iranian regime. For whatever reason, it seems they may still have some forlorn hopes of reaching a modus vivendi or restarting the absolutely moribund DOA nuclear talks. Let me mention real quick another article. Well, actually, several that came from it. Jay Solomon, formerly a reporter for the Wall Street Journal, received information from something called the Iran International Iranian Dissident Group, headquartered in London. And they somehow had obtained thousands of emails directly out of the Iranian Foreign Ministry. So Jay Solomon wrote an article at the end of September. This is at least a week, more than a week before the Shabbat massacre. And the article was published in Semafor, Semafor, and it outlined in detail the information about an Iranian intelligence operation that has penetrated the entire top ranks of the United States national security community going back to 2014.
Well, you've been talking about this for some time, and it's terrifying to think that we've got what amounts to double agents at the very top of U.S. foreign policy at the State Department advising the President of the United States duplicitously. I mean, it is shocking that it's going on.
It absolutely is shocking, but almost in a way, maybe not so much, because this initiative of the Iranian regime, called the Iran Experts Initiative, IEI, was established all the way back in 2014. There's no way that the top levels of the United States government and national security community did not know about these people. So it's not just the Department of State, it's at the Department of Defense. Now, yes, Robert Malley, former U.S.-Iran envoy to the talks in Vienna over the nuclear deal, has been suspended. It looks like permanently. His clearance is suspended. But I think he's off teaching our kids somewhere in some Ivy League school or other.
No doubt.
But he succeeded in placing people into the Department of State and the Department of Defense, where at least one of them, identified in the Semaphore article, named Adian Tabatabai, still serves to this day with clearances as the Chief of Staff to the Undersecretary of Defense, Christopher Meyer, Undersecretary for Special Operations and Low Intensity Conflict, SOLIC, at a time when our special forces, more than likely, are over there with Israel trying to help to recover American and other hostages out of the tunnels.
All true.